what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
This is a previously recorded episode of Making Living Better on WHKY, Catawba County, North Carolina's radio source for first-person storytelling.
Good morning. Welcome back to First Talk with Hal Row on WHKY Talk Radio for the Greater Hickory Metro. Good. I just got a T-shirt. That's what I was laughing about. I just got a T-shirt. Had no idea what it said in it, but I'll let you know about the T-shirt that I got this morning. One of my guests was kind enough to bring me. His name is Mr. Jay Brown. He is the owner, a realtor of Jay Brown Realtors here in Hickory. His wife, Aspen, of course, his children, and I'll give you their names in just a minute, but he is part of our Making Living Better series. I want to thank you very much for the T-shirt and the I Love Hickory cap.
You are very welcome.
You know, when you bring gifts in, it always starts off better. So I'm going to move that microphone over just a little bit more so we can see you, so we can hear you there.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Thanks so much for joining us. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We've actually talked before.
Yes.
We've sat down and had a meal before.
We've had pinto beans and chicken tenders.
Right. That's we have, and of course that was just to let people know, in full disclosure, that was at Jim Armstrong Subaru.
Yes.
Because you are married to Aspen.
Yes.
Whose father is Jim Armstrong.
That's correct.
And you said that's your father-in-law.
Yes, sir.
And we'll talk maybe a little bit about that in just a moment or two, because you were involved for a number of years in auto sales not at Jim Armstrong, but another car dealership, or a couple car dealerships. I want to talk first of all, as I told you before we came on the air, about your children's names. Of course, your lovely wife, Aspen,
right.
and you have two children, and their names are?
Scout and Huckleberry.
Scout and Huckleberry.
Yes,
a couple great names from American literature. Of course, Scout from To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's correct.
And Huckleberry from Huckleberry Finn.
Mark Twain, yes,
Mark
sir.
Twain. So there you go. So this, obviously, when people hear your children's names, do they immediately well, you're a very real red person. You love American literature.
Yes.
Your wife was in education, right?
She went to school for literature, and she majored. She went to Appalachian State. I know a lot of folks will be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
But yes, she was a literature major. She loved books. She loves to read. I also love books as well. And she came to me, I think, early in our relationship, and she said, I already know what we're going to name our kids when we have kids. And I said, well, let's start talking about, having kids first, because before we name them, we need to have that discussion.
Right.
But those names were picked before she probably even knew me. So
wow.
Yeah.
So those were great names from American literature, and obviously love those.
Yes.
Those names. So and do when people hear the names, do they kind of give you a smile, a nod, and thumbs up? But
they do.
I was going to say those are great names.
To see Huckleberry on a birth certificate is
yeah, right. That's pretty cool.
Taking a plunge, but yes, it is. It's Huckleberry Benj Brown, and Scout her first name is actually Shannon. I had an older brother, and his name was Shannon. Middle name Scout, and of course she was named after To Kill a Mockingbird and my brother. So
I think that's absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. Of course, like you said, she was involved in education for a number of years, and now you are both working together at Jay Brown Realtors.
That's correct.
You're just right down the street from us, right?
Yes, I can walk here.
Or we're up the street from you. Either way, right? We'll look at Jay Brown Realtors.
This is Hal Row's world.
No, you can say you're right near the antenna. If people are looking for your place,
yes.
look for the antenna.
Come to the antenna and go downhill.
There you go. You can't miss it. So I want to find out a little bit about how you got into real estate. There's a lot of different ways that people get where they are in life. Now, let's talk a little bit about the company first.
Sure.
Because this is something that's kind of new for you. You had been in sales.
Yes.
And of course, this was just kind of a natural thing for you to move into real estate because of your theory in sales, which is great. And that's helping people. Where did you start in sales? Where did you get started before?
I actually started in the car business at a Paramount dealership in Statesville, North Carolina. And Paramount, as you know, is owned by a Hickory native.
Benny Yunt, when you say his name.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Jim Armstrong might not appreciate it, but we'll go ahead and say Benny Yunt.
Jim will be okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be. Saw Mr. Yunt yesterday.
Yes, great guy. Worked there and, kind of just developed through the ranks through the years. And I got in that business very young. And
you remember the first car you sold?
I do.
What was it?
It was a Subaru Outback.
Really?
Jim will appreciate that.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're good with the father-in-law again now. It was the first car you sold.
It was the Subaru Outback, yeah.
And did you have that feeling that salespeople get of wow, this is great. I've made my first sale?
I don't know. I think I just realized that I'd made some money.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
and I could afford to, head out to Taco Bell. I was
right. Got some gas.
I was 18 years old.
And that's pretty good. Selling your first car at 18 years old.
Yes.
And that's the thing you were thinking. I'm putting some gas in the car. I'll go to Taco Bell. There you go. That's a good thing.
Yes, that's where I was. That's where I was in life.
And so from there, you started in the car business.
Yes.
And did well there.
Yeah, it took a couple of years to kind of get the wheels turning, but after a little bit of time and focus, it started to be a very good career.
I read some of the questions here that we had that Amy McCauley has been kind enough to put together kind of in your pre-interview or the interview here. And I think that you, like a lot of other people, from what I could tell, developed a sense of maybe you got into sales to make some gas money and to make a living. And then after a while, you started to realize that if you really want to be successful in this business, it's not about selling somebody something. It's about helping somebody out. And that's what you do today. Is somewhere along the line you got that realization that sales is a lot more than just selling somebody something. It's helping somebody out. It's
a people business. I think it's ultimately a relationship business. It's being attentive to a person's needs. Yes, it very much is just tuning in with people and aligning yourself with their needs and their wants, and going through and just really kind of taking that and getting better at it and getting quicker and understanding that the questions to ask and the direction that people want to head in. It may not be exactly what you think it is when you get started, but yeah, I think there's an art or a skill to that, and that's what I do.
Now, and just this is just me. Now, of course, I know this is for Making Living Better. This is for the county, but this is kind of just me and you talking here.
Sure.
I think that you realized that was part of who you were inside.
Yes.
And that you had that, because I think that people can go out and sell. I've seen people sell before that don't have that inside deal, that thing. But you have a true sense, or you discovered this, from what I understand.
Yeah.
You discovered that you had that sense of really wanting to talk with people and to develop those relationships. And you felt like sales, this is a great way to do it. This is a great way to make a living and to do kind of what my calling is, because I agree with you. I think that you can have those techniques and those skills, and I think that you can learn sales materials. But I think to be a really good salesperson, you have to have that inside you to develop those skills. It's like throwing a ball fast in the major leagues. You got to kind of be born with it. They can teach you how to do a slider. They can teach you the other things. But you have to have that, and you've got that, right? Or you feel like you have that relationship part of you as a person.
I think ultimately, yes, that's who I would be. If I had to tell you who I was, I would say I'm a people person. I'm a connector. I'm a helper. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, that's probably the most important thing to me. If people come to us and they need something, or they're trying to accomplish something, we want to jump in, and we want to push, and we want to pull, and we want to get it done. And ultimately, that's usually the direction that we go in when we meet with people is, what are you trying to do? Why are you trying to do this, and how can we help?
Well, you were easy to talk to when we sat down and had some beans and some chicken and sat down, because I didn't know who you were.
Yes,
you were just this interesting cat at the lunch that we were having.
Yes,
and I was just kind of like, who are you? What are you doing? And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, that's Jim's son-in-law.
Yes.
And I really was at that time. I really thought it was very cool that your kids had those wonderful names out of American literature. So I think that was, so we hadn't met before, so it's always nice having somebody in the studio. We talked a little bit, of course, about your company, and your wife now, you two work together.
We do. She's a realtor. She's in the room right now.
She's okay, very good.
She's here with us.
And has that been tough? Because some people, and maybe we better not talk about that.
No, we can talk about
this. Because some folks say,
let's talk about this.
I love working with my wife. I love working.
She's the boss at home.
Right.
And I'm the boss at work.
Oh,
we're
not getting into
how
this.
It is.
No, we're not going to get into that.
And I tell people that, I wear the pants. She just picks them out.
Picks them out. That's exactly right. And of course, he's not even looking at me right now. He's making sure that he's getting thumbs up from the missus. But no, in all seriousness, y'all work together. And from what I understand, all kidding aside, this was something that y'all came to as a result and a process of a discussion, and you two looking at this together and saying we're going to branch out and we'll reach out. And that's kind of where we're going to get into the Making Living Better, because you saw an opportunity in our area for young people to be entrepreneurs and to take this leap of faith, because those were your words, leap of faith. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we return. It's our Making Living Better segment. We're talking with realtor and owner of J. Brown Realtors, Mr. J. Brown, his wife Aspen in here as well. More First Talk right after this break.
Catawba County has great people who do nice things for each other.
Catawba County also has amazing schools with teachers who make learning fun.
We also have lakes, which makes fishing, boating, and family time a breeze.
If you want a beautiful place to live with amazing opportunities, then come over to Catawba County.
Catawba County, making living better.
Learn more at makinglivingbetter.com.
Good morning. Welcome back to First Talk with Hal Row on WHKY Talk Radio for the Greater Hickory Metro. Part of our Making Living Better series, that we do with Catawba County this morning is Mr. Jay Brown, owner and realtor. Jay Brown Realtors, of course, located in the Holler Mill section, right down the road from us. So we're just right up the road from them. Grew up in Statesville, started working in the auto industry, and migrated into real estate. We talked a little bit about you being in real estate and moving there because of that sense that you really wanted to help people out and work with people. Tell me a little bit about how the real estate market is going with in mind that we're trying to take a look at drawing new talent, bringing new people into the area, and also retaining people from this area, because you're a young couple, young children, kind of folks that we want to stay here and be a part of the Greater Hickory Metro. But tell us a little bit about the real estate market and young folks moving into the area.
Sure. And this is probably one of the topics that are the hardest thing that we deal with at the current moment. The housing market for buyers is kind of tough right now. I think we work with several buyers, and as a firm or an agency, one of our jobs is to go out and help these buyers find a new home. So with the inventory in the situation that it is, which is low, anything below that 250, any entry-level type housing pricing, that market is not like it used to be. It's a little bit tougher to find something that's move-in ready, something that's readily available to close on
right.
with someone who might not, have a contractor's license, or you have to put $20,000 or $30,000 into a home. So
right.
It's a tough market out there. And I think that as we move forward and we're trying to attract and draw young folks to this area, which is I think it's the target for just about anybody that you speak to around here that owns a company or is part of the community,
right.
or wants to grow the area. So I think we need help with that. I don't know who is ultimately going to push the needle for that, but right. I think at some point, and I know that there are currently lots of different folks involved in trying to make that happen. There's a lot of revitalization on in the downtown areas, and then there's a lot of push for development to get builders here, to get entry-level housing created for this area. But I don't know how long it's going to take to do that, Hal. I really don't. I think that's probably one of the most challenging things that we're dealing with right now.
You talk in the pre-interview and the stuff that came from Catawba County, Amy McCall was kind enough to forward this to us, that you see a lot of things going on behind the scenes. You talk
yes.
with a lot of people. You're kind of plugged in, know what's going
yes.
on. So you see a lot of really great things happening
mm-hmm.
with parks, with families.
Correct.
So maybe talk a little bit about that and some of the things that you've seen and some of the things that are exciting to you about
yes.
this area and about growth, because you mentioned downtown, but there's a lot of other things going on.
Well, I think anyone who is familiar with Hickory at the moment is probably on or is in the know of the city walk, the river walk,
right.
The landscaping and streetscaping going on in
right.
Newton. We've got some money coming into downtown Hickory at this point. Lots of different things going on. And I think going from there, the ability for us to, as real estate agents, to promote that, and as people come in, we have the bike, the bike track that's going to be built around Hickory. As these companies and these people, we get lots of people coming in from out of state, and they say, hey, what can we do here? What can our family do?
Right.
Where can we go? What are the activities? And there's just a lot coming. Some of that stuff is going to be here in the next year or so. Some of that stuff's going to take 4 or 5 years.
Right.
But there is a lot, and there's we could spend 30 minutes on this
sure.
topic. There's a lot more behind that. I think that I think most folks aren't aware of just yet.
So that brings me to where I wanted to kind of get with what we left off on the break. You and your wife get together and take a look at making a move as an entrepreneur and saying, okay, together, I mean, because this decision came as part of what you both decided together, that, okay, we're a young couple, we're married, we've got kids. It's really pretty easy, I would think. It would probably be pretty easy for you to settle into a job as a realtor at another company and to be part of a real estate company.
Sure.
Your wife has obviously got the degree in educator. You could say, okay, we could do this. But you all made a decision together as part of residents here in Catawba County that, no, that's not going to be for us. We're going to move in. We're going to move together as an entity, and we're going to start our own company, which is really scary.
Yes.
That's a really scary thing to do.
Sure.
So talk about that and why that entrepreneurial spirit and why you decided it was going to be a J. Brown Realtors instead of you working for somebody else.
Okay, I want to go really deep on you here.
Okay.
So, first of all, I think
we got 2 minutes.
Yes, the face of real estate. Not that deep.
As deep as you can in 2 minutes.
The face of real estate is really, I think, going to change over the next 10 years. Okay. I think, and it happened, I was in the car business, so it happened in that industry as well when the internet came along and things changed and people started shopping and doing things differently. That's happening in real estate. And I think if you are in the forefront of this industry right now, you better be paying attention because things are going to change. There's so much disruption coming in this industry. And I think for us to be agile enough to stay in front of that is very important to us. And the other side of that is what we mentioned in this interview was, we want to do it the way that we want to do it. And the way that we want to do it is very personal. It's very in tune to the personal relationship. And I think the real estate industry as a whole has gotten away from that.
So you and your wife decide that things are going to be changing. You want to be on the forefront.
That's correct.
And right here in Catawba County, you had that opportunity. Might not have existed in Charlotte, might not have existed in Raleigh or another area. But right here in Catawba County, you were able to say, we want to do it our way.
Yes. We
want to be able to be agile, as you said.
Correct.
We want to be able to have this and the opportunity for us to do it our way and to raise our family in the area that we want to and do this. You're a skier? Because you said you could be. Do you like skiing?
I'm not a skier, but I love to ski. I'm not a golfer. I love to golf.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
But
you enjoy these things.
I enjoy them.
And so you have these aspects and these avenues available to you as well.
If my kids grow up and they want to ski, I'll go ski with them.
There you go. Yeah. You have that opportunity right
Absolutely.
here. Jay Brown, really good to see you.
You too,
Thanks
Hal.
so much. It was nice talking to you this way.
I appreciate it.
And next time we'll make sure that we got some chicken tenders and some beans, and we'll sit down. Who knows? We'll make sure another meal before long.
Absolutely.
Good to see you. Your lovely wife, Aspen, here. Nice to see you as well. And I want to thank you both very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for listening. To find more first-person stories from Catawba County, visit makinglivingbetter.com or tune in to themesh.tv each month for a new podcast.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.